Hello, Helena. It's Emily McVeigh, Executive Director of the United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. We're here for this week's United Way Partner Spotlight with Scouts and Marissa with Cub Scouts, Troop 214, right?
Yes.
All right. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Tell us why you have your kids involved in Cub Scouts.
Well, originally we were interested in Cub Scouts because my kids, especially my two older boys, wanted to get into the military when they're older. And so I know that Cub Scouts has a great leadership program. They're very leadership oriented. We're also a very outdoor oriented family, and that attracted us to Cub Scouts also because I know there's a lot of camps and outdoor stuff.
I was telling you before the cameras turned on, my three boys are Eagle Scouts, and
Yes.
if you go all the way through and you join the military, you get to join at a higher rank, so that is a definite bonus. So tell your kids. I always tell kids that are interested in the military that. So if you're out there and you're interested, that's a big bonus for kids thinking about military careers.
Yes.
Scouting is a definite step up into that. And when my son went to basic training, and I said, well, how is it, because it's a hard thing for kids to have to go through. And he said, I went to scout camps harder than this. And I laughed a little bit because I heard his voice on the other end of the phone a couple times, and I knew he was having a hard time. But he also did wilderness survival, and those are also hard days. So they learn a lot of really good skills and learn a lot of really good independence when they're doing scouting.
We're really excited about Boy Scouts when they move up to the troop. It's going to be fun.
It's a good time. So Cub Scouts is a really good step into scouting later on.
Yes.
Yep. So what kinds of activities do you do in Cub Scouts?
Well, my favorite ones are the camporees. In Cub Scouts, we have two. There's one in the fall and one in the spring. There's also the Pinewood Derby. We have one at the pack level and one at the district level. And then they have the chariot races. That's like a district program too. That's a lot of fun. As a pack, we have hikes and other activities. We do community service in their dens. They learn survival skills. They do arts and crafts. They learn about the importance of being healthy and exercising. They make friends. There's so many great things about Scouts. It's
so much more than just tying ropes. That's what people always think. Oh, you just learn how to tie ropes.
We just learned how to tie ropes the other day. But yes, there's lots of things that they learn.
I did learn how to tie woggles. That was the biggest crowning achievement of my scouting time. So, which is a handy thing to know. But in a society when there are so many things you can do, what makes scouting stand out?
One of the things I love about Cub Scouts is that there's a lot of emphasis on learning how to cooperate and listen and be helpful. And I really believe that we are creating the next generation of leaders with Cub Scouts.
Yeah, because if you look at presidents and leaders of all kinds, if you look at past Scout leaders and Eagle Scouts and you go through that list, it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty impressive list of leadership.
It is. And even if they don't make it quite that far, they're still learning great leadership skills they can use in their life.
Yep. Yeah, it's just pretty amazing when they start talking about that. It's like, oh, yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
That is cool. I agree. That is very cool.
Well, and they don't really have to just pick one thing. Scouting will work around their schedule. My kids played football, they wrestled, they played lacrosse. They did all the things that kept very busy. That was one of my goals, was to keep my kids busy because then they stay out of trouble.
Yes.
and they also were in Scouts, so they don't have to just pick one.
Yeah.
They can pick and choose. They don't have to go to every camporee. They can do here and there and still make it through.
Yes.
So it's not like the Scout leaders get mad if they miss a meeting.
Right.
They understand.
We're flexible, and we like to have good communication with our parents and everyone that's involved.
Yeah. All right. So you have a favorite memory from scouting?
I do. So as I mentioned before, I love the camporees. I think they're so much fun. It's usually Friday night to Sunday morning, and Saturday's like a day full of activities. But my most favorite one was this past spring. Friday evening and Saturday after all the activities, the kids, like 30, 40 kids from different packs were just playing in the forest and made like their own society. It was actually very creative and impressive. They built like little structures out of sticks and made little roads and even created jobs, and I was just really impressed with how they all worked together. There was no fighting. They created something together and made their own little community or little society. I just thought it was really, really awesome. I just really enjoy seeing how all these kids get along so well.
And the other nice thing is they meet kids from all over town.
Yes.
Or all over Montana.
Yeah.
And they get to know kids that they never would have met otherwise. My kids, they just know people from all over the place that they never would have known outside of scouting.
That is true.
Yeah.
We've met some really amazing people, and we actually got the chance to go to the Scout Expo last June in 2022, and that was up in Great Falls, and there were scouts from all over the country there. It was a really awesome weekend.
Yeah, it's just really, and I think some of the very best leaders, it takes a village to raise a child. Totally a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
I think some of the very best people to help raise my kids were the scout leaders that they were involved with.
I have 3 children in Scouts, and I very much appreciate the other den leaders that work with my other children.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I would say there's great memories from scouting. We spent a lot of years doing it. So,
Right.
So scouting is about preparing young people for their future. How does scouting do that?
So we learn values, American values. I think that's a big thing in Scouts, is that just we do the Pledge of Allegiance every meeting. They're learning values that we're teaching at home with my family, and they're just kind of reiterated in Scouts. And I think that's a really great thing. There's a lot of really, like our, the whole Scout law is to be trustworthy, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, and reverent. And I feel like the different activities that they learn, their belt loops that they earn, reflect those different parts of the Scout law that they're learning. I think it's really neat.
Yeah, and once they get into older scouting, they do citizenship pieces, and so my kids went to commission meetings, which most kids would never do.
Yeah.
So
they
that's
probably wouldn't, but that's a
huge-
great experience.
Yeah, that's really important for kids to understand how their local government works, or their state government works.
Well,
And
my oldest son was a Webelow last year, and he got to go with his group to meet with the governor of Montana. I thought that was a really crazy, cool experience.
yeah, they do things that normally kids their age aren't doing,
Yeah.
and they're getting to meet people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was
is
an
outside of
incredible
the box.
experience.
Yeah. So why do you think other parents should join Cub Scouts?
Well, my 3 children have flourished in Cub Scouts, and they have I have 2 boys and a girl, and they all have very different personalities, but I feel like it's fit all of them. Like I said before, they're learning values that are helpful in life in all sorts of ways. They've made a lot of friends. It's very family oriented. We get to spend time as a family and do Scouts, meet other great people. It's kind of like its own little community. I feel like there's a very strong sense of community in Scouts, and I think that's one of my most favorite things about it.
And one thing I found with kids in scouting was the more the parent was involved, the more successful the kids were in moving their way through the ranks and those kinds of things. You don't have to be there every week. You don't have to go through every camp. But if the parents understand the process of scouting and they're willing to be involved, the more successful the kids were, because it does take some prodding and some assistance.
Yeah.
They are kids after all.
Right. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. But it does take some parent interaction. Our troop ran the tree lot, which was the biggest fundraiser in town.
Yeah.
Takes some effort. So, yeah, you need those parents. You need that assistance to make those things happen. So, definitely get the parents involved to make sure the kids can do those camporees. Those aren't free. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's important. So, how can a parent find out more about the local activities that are happening?
Well, one of the things you can do is go to beascout.org. That will help you figure out which pack is closest to you. I'm with PAC 214, and we meet every Tuesday at the Aviation Center at 6:30. And like one thing you could do is, if you're interested, is just go to a meeting or a few meetings and just see if it's something that you would like. You can participate in the dens. The dens are divided up by grade level. So like lions, kindergarten, tigers are first, wolves are second graders, bears are third, and then you get into Webelos 1, which is fourth graders, and then AOLs are fifth grade, where they're getting ready to move over to the Boy Scout troop. So yes, just you can try beascout.org or go to a PAC meeting, see if it's something you'd like.
Yeah, and I've seen the yellow signs around town, so you can see that if you find a yellow sign that's got the website on it. So
Yes.
it reminds people to sign up for scouting. It's also popcorn season.
It is popcorn
So you
season.
should see some scouts out.
We'll be out
Yeah.
selling popcorn here starting on Saturday.
Nice.
We'll be at Safeway selling popcorn with our pack and going door to door also.
Very good. Yeah, and can they go online and buy popcorn?
Yes, I can.
All right. Yeah. It's a big. So what's the dates for popcorn sales?
It starts this weekend, and I believe it ends in October, and I don't have the exact date. I don't
Okay.
remember.
It seems to go so fast.
I-
that
yeah,
people
it
often
really-
go, I missed popcorn sales.
I want to say it's like maybe a month at the most.
Yeah. So make sure you to go out and find a scout, buy some popcorn.
Yes, thank you for that.
I know it seems expensive, but it's for a good cause and it's delicious. And they changed the name of chocolate covered caramel popcorn, so it does still exist. It's just called something else. Just for anybody who's interested.
And I know they added a few new flavors, and there's trail mix this year too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
To know. I know last year I was like, "Where's the chocolate covered caramel popcorn?" And it's just called something different. You just have to read the descriptions. So
But you got your chocolate covered
got my fix.
caramel
Yeah.
popcorn. Okay, good.
Got what I needed, and yeah. Anything else about scouting that you want to share?
I just think it's a great program, and I'm always encouraging people to try it out. And it's been great for our family, and I think it's great for a lot of families.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
Same. I'm always a big supporter of scouts and encouraging people to try it out. And like you said, if you don't like the troop you try first, you can always try another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if you find the one that your kids enjoy and that the parents all get along. And
Yeah,
that's important.
the best fit
Yeah.
for your family.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Thank you, Helena. We'll see you again next week.